This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 580 for December 3rd, 2018, the 70% rule.
I'm doing my part.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
As we were just talking about in the pre-show, it's the we're rapidly approaching the end of the year festivities here for the show. So as we've done for a couple years, and last year was the first time we did it for one of them, Community Game of the Year voting is now open. You can find it in the Discord channel. I'll post it as like the channel message for the general channel here later, as well as on Twitter. I should put it on Facebook too. I forgot to do that. Go vote for your game of the year. There's a list of there's 30 games on the list. 2018's been really good, and there's a field for you to write in your vote.
Yep.
So if I forgot something on the list, or some hidden indie game really grabbed your fancy this year, go write it in.
Hashtag this is the please too.
Yeah, feel free to write in. And I think I actually put that on the list because I was like, well, I wanted to play that one.
Just for the other freaks like us.
Yeah, so go check that out. That one's straightforward. Just pick your game, write it in, vote. The 2019 Community Predictions Forum is also live as well. A game of the year, we're going to be recording that sometime in the next 2 weeks, depending on how quickly we finish the games we're playing right now.
Yep.
So try and do that one first. That one's easier, and we might do that one early. The other one is the 2019 predictions. Get in there, get your predictions in for the episode. It's basically the same format we've done last couple of years, the big three publishers, and then general predictions for the industry or for specific games. That's another form. That's also in all the rest of the places we talked about. So
yep.
Go fill those out and get in on those episodes. The more people fill them out, the longer and better the episodes are. So no guilt, but get on in there.
Yes. Go.
Yeah. Yes. So all that end of the year business out of the way. Moonpeer, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, I'm going to start with the big one and work my way through the little ones as we go. So I started and finished Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter.
Oh, I've always wanted to play these games.
So, you remember for the past 5, 10, however many years, we've always had this ongoing conversation about how the B-tier game is dead. It's only indies and AAA now, and that's all that's left. And then you've got the triple I such and such stuff that people keep talking about. Yeah, the B-tier game still exists. You just got to know where to look for it.
No one covers them anymore, really.
Yes. So, Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter is 100% a B-tier game. It is...
Okay.
It's the giant ant game of its time.
Okay.
What is that game called? Earth Defense Force. There we go. Oof.
Yes.
I'm glad I remembered that.
Vampire this year might be considered a B-tier game as well, a B game.
Yep, that would definitely be up there for me in the high-quality B game. That actually is probably more Earth Defense Force, because Vampire is a B-tier game that I think is batting way above its budget, whereas I feel like Sherlock Holmes is right in its budget, and it's not a bad game. Let's get this out the way first and foremost. It's not a bad game. The engine looks good. I don't even know what they're using, but the game looks surprisingly good. They've got decent enough voice actors, no standout performances on any real thing.
Stephen Merchant isn't in the game.
It's not that new film with Will Ferrell. I can't believe he's doing a Sherlock Holmes movie.
I love that the two of them are American actors and everybody else is British. It's if you're going to lean into making a comedy Sherlock Holmes movie, that's pretty much what I'd want you to do.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me is, like, my wife is a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes, specifically the Elementary reboot version of it.
Right.
Which, if you haven't seen the Elementary reboot, from what I've seen, it's a really good show.
I've heard it's good, yeah. Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter is using Unreal Engine 3.
Okay, that would be why it kind of looks...
Released in 2016. Okay, that's why. I was like, why aren't you using UE4?
Yep. It's a point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so...
Tell me about the puzzles.
Oh boy. So this game does a couple of things really, really, really well. So, have you seen the stupid action director Sherlock Holmes movies?
I love them, yes.
So,
well, the first one I like a lot more than the second one, but yes, I love them.
So there's the fight scene where Robert Downey Jr. plots out what's going to happen in his head in slow motion.
Yeah.
And then it snaps back and it redoes the whole fight really quick with exactly what he said. They do that in this game.
Great.
Like,
I love it.
It's got so many different layers of stuff. So, you're Sherlock Holmes. Shocker of shocks. I know.
Well, I mean, I feel like in a lot of Sherlock Holmes things that needs to be explicitly stated, because sometimes it's like, you're Watson. It's like, no, I don't want to be friggin' Watson. I want to be Holmes.
I'm pretty sure that the same developers who did this, because I think they've been doing Sherlock Holmes games for a while, also did the Death of Sherlock Holmes, where you get to play as Sherlock Holmes' dog, where
okay.
if you ever want something really funny, go and listen to, I think it's like 2 or 3, no, it'd be about 4 years ago now, go listen to the Giant Bombs E3 casts when one of the My Brother, Your Brother and Me, or whatever it is, what's the...
One of the McElroy brothers?
Yes. One of them is obsessed with the Sherlock Holmes games, and he went to the trailer, and it was done by a French person, and he just impersonates this French person the whole podcast. You should go listen to it.
That's great.
It's amazing. But no, it's literally, it's a point-and-click adventure. It's, you get given a case. Someone is dead. Someone has been murdered. Someone is missing. Or what happened to them. So go collect the evidence. Mix A with B to see who you need to question. You get to take people.
Right.
You get to take people to Scotland Yard and investigate the criminals and stuff like that.
Avoid the slightly dumb local police.
Yes, and what's his face? Sherlock Holmes' drunk cop friend is in it as well. I can't remember that guy's name.
I don't remember his name.
What is his name? I should know it.
Archibald.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Archibald is in it, and Archibald is as antagonistic as ever, so that's really, really cool. And there's this long, like, it's I think it's like 5 or 6 cases, like 2 of them are little mini cases, but you're just putting all the evidence together. You get to do, every time you meet someone new, you get to do this, it's called portraiting somebody, which is where you have to examine them using your Sherlock Holmes ability. You look, I'm not even kidding, Watson refers to it as use your ability later in the game.
I like, without having played this game, it almost sounds like, to me, whenever Sherlock meets someone, he's just like squinting at them real close and like looking at them up and down real slowly, like,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's a new person.
Because it like zooms in really close on, like, let's say their face, so you could just see their face, and then you hold the bumper button and it just pans throughout their body and examines different things. So it's like, it's literally like he is standing there squinting at them going, that's a nice belt buckle you got there.
Right. There's a little bit of wear on the right foot.
No kidding. There's a kid who has a patch on his clothes because his clothes were torn, and the deduction he makes is parents who care.
There you go.
Yeah. So...
That's a Sherlock Holmes game.
Yep. I mean, that's, it's one of those things, like, you examine them, you make up a portrait of them so you know what type of person they are, you gather the evidence, and you slowly but surely start to put together the cases and the evidence and things like that. And my personal favourite thing that this game does, it's the deduction side of things. Like,
ooh, okay.
I do love he has 2 he has 3 major abilities. He has Sherlock Holmes sense, which is
sure,
it's basically detective vision.
little wavy lines that come out of his head.
Yep. It's basically detective vision, where you press right bumper and he uses his Sherlock Holmes sense to see things
He puts on the goggles. Boo.
Mm-hmm. And then he has his imagination, which his imagination is what you use to put together the sequence of events. Like,
sure. Modern parlance is mind palace.
Yes.
Okay.
So you put together the sequence of events, and the best thing is in putting it together and then you hit and confirm, and it's just like, no, that's not right, something's missing. It's like, oh, you're Sherlock, you figure it out then, don't make me put it together.
What am I here for?
Well, my favourite thing is the deductions, which basically takes all of the evidence that you find, and this is going to sound so dumb. You've seen Fight Club?
I have.
You remember this start and sequence to that Fight Club where it's like this panning camera through someone's neurons in their brain as they're firing?
Sure.
Imagine that as a stationary camera angle, and deductions is basically you get this swirling jumble mess of clues that you found, and it's like person doesn't like person, or distrust is this one word. Mm-hmm. And then it's murder scene. And then you have to basically take all of these different words and tie A to B. So...
Oh, okay. So you're like connecting the paths between
two words.
The two larger terms.
Yeah. And then that gives you a deduction, which when you put these two words together, it transitions over into this neuron screen where it's this little neuron.
The beginning of the first X-Men movie.
Yes. This little neuron appears, and then you click on it, and then it, depending on the types of clues you get, it gives you options or it just gives you a fact. So it's like, okay, well, this person is really good with electricity, but he wasn't at the scene. So let's say his clues are alibi and skills. So he has the skills to do it, but he has an alibi for that, and you've confirmed the alibi was correct. So therefore, when you hit that blob of neuron, the answer it comes up with is couldn't have done it, wasn't at the scene.
Oh, okay. Good. Oh, okay.
But then maybe other clues you get will be like, okay, well, this person has a motive but wasn't there, or this person has a motive and could have finagled it so somebody else did it for them. So you put this web of answers together, and then eventually they form big neuron blobs, and then those big neuron blobs turn into bigger neuron blobs, and then that's how you basically figure out who committed the crime, is by taking all of the evidence you've picked up and deducing from this weird jumble boggle thing that's going on where the clues actually lead to and who is to blame for it. And then, but my favorite thing is you can accuse them or you can absolve them. Like, you can just flat out give people walk away kind of. There was a case, the second case I think it was, where the person had just cause for doing what he wanted to do or what needed to be done. So at the end of the case, I said to him, yo dude, I understand your situation, so here's the deal. You've got 24 hours, get out of town.
Right.
And then all bets are off. But you've got 24 hours, so walk away.
Interesting. I'll just put this game on my wish list on PS4. It sounds goofy explaining it, but I get the feeling that this would really click with me.
Yep, it's genuinely it's an enjoyable experience. Have a guide ready, because some of the puzzles are a little bit insane.
They're a little bit adventure game logic-y.
Yes. Or a little bit, do you have a pad of paper and a pencil and can you sketch over your screen kind of thing?
Right.
Draw a perfect constellation of stars without crossing over the same line twice.
Oh, I love those puzzles.
And do it with a mouse cursor you're controlling with a stick.
I don't love that part.
With a slow animation.
Oh, right. So it's not even like... which Assassin's Creed game was it that... I think it was Origins, where you looked up at the constellations and you were drawing them? That at least was pretty speedy.
Yeah, that was just a case of sit down, here's your stars, rotate them and match them to where they fit, and it works.
Oh, which one was I thinking of, though, when you drew them?
That I don't know. Is that Black Flag, maybe?
Oh, maybe it was, yeah. I'm trying to think of the ones you haven't played.
Black Flag.
It probably was Black Flag, yeah.
But it's not a bad game. It's not a great game. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to blow your socks off.
Sure.
But it's an enjoyable ride. And it's a shorter game, so, you can... I'll be honest, I needed this. I needed something where I can not switch my brain off, but use minimal thought power to actually get through this game. Because in Game of the Year 2018, why not play a 2016 game to see how close that gets?
Right.
But, it's fun. It's dumb fun, but it's fun. And
yeah,
my timing couldn't be worse because this thing literally just left Game Pass, today.
Oh, I did do a Google search for what the side quest is to draw the constellations. Mm-hmm. It's in Dragon Age Inquisition.
That would be why I didn't know what it was then.
Right. It was a cool system, mm-hmm. but not an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter. It's a pretty good game. It's a very good B game. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything like that. I get the sneaking suspicion that this is a continuation of the previous Sherlock Holmes storyline, because there's a whole bunch of loose ends in this. That I was like, okay, who's that? What? Right. What's going on?
Why'd you just say nice to see you again?
Why do you exist?
Right.
This makes no sense. Okay. So this.
Well, I've always heard that's one of the reasons why people love that series, though, is because the developer has been making a couple. I think, is this the third one? Maybe.
It wouldn't even surprise me if this is the sixth, dude.
It might be, yeah. But I get the impression that a lot of them are connected, and that's why people. And they were coming out, I think, every 2 years for a while.
Yep. And these have always been also well regarded as the good old achievement hunters kind of games too.
Oh, okay.
As not quick and easy, but relatively straightforward. Here's 1,000 gamer score. There is one missable achievement in this, and that is win the bowling green, the lawn bowling tournament, which I won.
Oh.
Having previously played lawn bowling in real life, I can tell you how easy it is to win.
As a British man.
As a British man with access.
You had a leg up.
Yes, with access to pubs, which have... Literally, I used to go to a pub which had a lawn bowling green in the back of the pub.
Great.
That is probably the most British thing I've ever said.
Right. I was just thinking, yeah, that's up there.
But yeah, Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter, it's a good game. I would be remiss if I didn't say one of the most Eastern Bloc credit sequences I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
The credit starts, and it's like a James Bond Sherlock Holmes video. The start to all James Bond movies where it does the abstract things. It's like that, but it's Sherlock Holmes and the stars of the game.
That's really good.
And the names are literally all French or all super Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of that would come close to this would be Witcher. I
was about to say CD Projekt Red.
I haven't seen the Witcher credits, so I'm not too sure, but
they are very Eastern Bloc, yeah.
It's so it was interesting because I'm looking through it I literally can't pronounce 90% of these names. Yeah,
there's a lot of A's with the little circle on the top of it. I don't know how to pronounce that.
And the U's with the umlauts and AEK as the last three numbers, and it's just okay.
Yeah. Right.
Last three letters, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes, go play it. If you can get it for steal, even better. I didn't pay a penny for it. Thank you, Game Pass. It's definitely worth it if you can get it. Sub $10 is probably the best bet for it. But
yeah, PSN has it for $50 right now, which is high.
Yeah, I bet you if you went into your local video game retail store, you could probably get it for a lot less. Maybe?
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm gonna wait for you to continue your search here.
I was just searching on Amazon for a boxed copy. $25.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually. Honestly,
they also have.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think they also make the Agatha Christie games.
They probably do, dude.
I'm gonna get off of Amazon.
It's two open source things. So not open source. What is it? Public domain. Oh, there we go.
Yes, there we go.
It's two public domain things that have name value that they can use.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the main thing I played this week, and the rest of the stuff I played this week is all comfort food. So,
Okay, perfect.
yes, my wife has been on a tear with, again, showing the diametric opposites of myself and my wife, with me with my 100 gigabytes left free of my 5 terabyte, my 5 terabyte hard drive or whatever I've got in total. My wife decided she doesn't have enough free space on her Xbox. So she decided to just hit the 70% rule and try and smash as many things out as she could to try and clear out some space on her hard drive. And for some of them, I helped. Go check out my wife's Twitter feed if you want some really insane person gaming to see the stuff she's been playing. So we played, I played Grip. I'm just going to throw that out to the ether. They seem to have patched the race wins achievements now. It's still just a fun, dumb arcade game, so it's on Game Pass. Play it if you want to play it. Okay, so we played A Way Out. We wrapped up all of the missable achievements in this, which I don't know how I feel about this game. Like, we mentioned Sunless Sea, and We Roguelike It is a very good first step. And talking about the potential for sequels going forwards, like, I'm excited about what they do next if it's in the same universe. A Way Out is very much the same for me because it's a good game. It's not...
And a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept. Like, I think it deserves Best Style Awards this year just for the actual way the thing looks. It's not the best put together product.
Right.
The voice acting is horrendous in places, and the plot is... It's like... It comes at you like a freeway sign. It's like, oh, is this what's going to happen next? Oh, guess what? Yes, it is.
Right.
You know, it's...
What a twist.
It's a good game. It's not great, but we did get all of the achievements in it, so now we can uninstall it and wait for the next one to come out. So I'm fine with that. It's still fun, and I still hope people do go out and buy it. And I hope, because you can do that whole 2 people, 1 person buys it, 2 people can play it kind of thing as well.
Right.
I would like to see more people play that game because I just want that developer to have the ability to make another one. I want A Way Out 2. Or A Way In, or whatever they want to make the next game.
Yeah, however you want to lay it out.
I want something like that because I think it would be good based on the foundation that they've built. But yeah, Way Out, playing it with my wife as well is also always hilarious. It's even better when we both are achievement hunting because we just both get on with the job at hand. There is no griefing, there is no trolling, there is none of that stuff. It's just, we're here to do a job, let's do it.
Right.
Speaking of doing a job, Diablo 3, the ultimate comfort food game.
Yes, it's so good.
This is how weird I am. I helped my wife get a whole bunch of achievements I don't have yet.
Oh, yeah, because some of them, it has that horrible thing where it's like, oh, right, only like the host of the party can get it or something like that.
Not even that one. I got her the achievement for having every character at level 70.
Oh, nice.
Which, big shout out to the No Quarters / BMF cast crew for this because I totally mooched off Harlow being a big weirdo.
Okay.
Because
we say that with love, by the way.
Oh, definitely with love. There is an item in that game called the Gem of Ease.
Ah, the Gem of Ease, yes.
Yes. Which Harlow got all the way up to level 25.
Wow.
Which means that if you socket that into an item, it reduces the level requirement of that item to level 1.
Yes.
So, literally, he did that, and then I believe it was him and Mackie did it originally, but he gave that to Mackie, and then you jump into Torment 5 or 6 or 7, you kill 3 enemies, and then your level 1 person is now level 30.
Right.
Then you keep going, and then 20 minutes later, you've got a level 70 character.
Right.
And then you jump into
jump out, load another one.
Yep. Wash, rinse, repeat. Probably about 2 years ago, I started playing Diablo 3 for the first time, and I was really enjoying it. And Harlow and Mackie jumped in, at which point Mackie finished off his level 70 characters, and they bequested the Gem of Ease to me.
Has been passed down through the generations.
So I bequested the Gem of Ease to my wife, and we got... She already had like 4 characters at level 70. I don't know how or why. I didn't think she played the game that much.
It goes pretty quickly now.
Yeah, it does. We rounded up that. We got her a bunch of those levels, and then I realized I've played that game more than I thought because I have a level 70 hardcore monk, and I don't ever remember playing that game on hardcore mode.
Yeah, there's one achievement for hitting 70 in hardcore, though, right?
Yeah, there's 3 hardcore achievements. It's like kill the chapter 3 or 4 end boss, then the chapter 5 end boss, and hit level 70 in hardcore mode.
Oh, that's not too bad.
The only thing I really have left now is this is dumb. I've got to do 500 bounties, which I still haven't done.
Yeah, that's just time.
And I have to hire the Templar, the Mage, and the Thief, or whatever there are. I've never used all 3 of them. I've only ever used the Templar.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, the Sorceress is okay. I never really use her, and the Thief guy, I don't remember what they call him, but he's okay. Mm-hmm. What's your main character's class?
My main character is a barbarian because it was the first time this is the first Diablo game I ever played. So when I started playing Diablo, I thought I just want something that can take a bit of punishment and me not have to worry about a whole bunch of extraneous stuff. So I went with the barbarian, I think the barbarian and then the monk are the 2 pretty much, plug and play kind of characters where they are just hit a bunch of buttons and just don't worry about taking too much damage.
Start spamming whirlwind and just start cutting through peeps.
I actually went with the Call of the Ancients Whirlwind Cleave build, which is the Call of the Ancients. I had the armor set that means that they don't disappear. Right. So I've always got those three ancient guys with me. And my Cleave and Whirlwind do like ridiculous damage, so
it's like 50,000% damage.
Yeah, when it starts showing up like 1 point, it starts saying the millions after the damage.
Right,
it's kind of hilarious. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm no super expert. Like I'm pretty sure when I was running that game with Harlow, we were on like Torment 9. And he had a Witch Doctor build, and it was like, oh, look, everybody's dead the second Harlow shows up on screen.
Yeah, there's like 400 frogs on screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, I'm nowhere near that level, but I can solo some Torment. And to be honest, if any of our listeners want to actually help me get my characters up to level 70, that would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. Bang out some bounties at the same time.
Exactly. I can do it by myself, but I have to wait until my wife goes to bed so I can play as Hair Barbarian. And Hair Barbarian isn't geared like mine is, so it's a bit slower. So any help would be appreciated, please.
God, Diablo 3 is so good.
Thank you. Why don't you buy it on the Xbox, Boston? And
because it costs money.
And what's your point?
And I don't have any of that.
Oh, okay. Well, fine.
Yeah. That's the crucial other half of that formula.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things as well. It's the worst thing with games like this because, this is really fun. I forgot how fun this is. Mm-hmm. So I might be down a Diablo rabbit hole a little bit. It's the Elite Dangerous bug for me, where it's like you start playing it for 5 minutes, you're like, oh no.
Oh no, it bit me. It got me.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how long this lasts, but if you're interested in playing some Diablo, let me know. Let's party up, jump in, smash some things, figure out what all these challenge rifts and all this new weird, crazy stuff is, because I don't know anything about this game anymore. Like, when I stopped playing it, I don't even think seasons were in it. So...
Yeah, challenge rifts are really cool, because basically when you hit max level, you want to start doing the normal challenge rifts. If you beat, how you have that progress bar in the upper left-hand corner? If you beat that little bar that has a time limit on it, you'll get a fragment to run a more difficult rift. That's where the really good loot is.
Okay.
And basically, you complete a normal one, you get a key for the harder rift, 1 key for the harder rift. You run that, it gets you a ton of really good loot, and kind of do that loop.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Diablo 3, I can't afford to jump down that rabbit hole again, but I kind of want to. And it's one of those things where, just jumping in as the Witch Doctor and being like, I should really learn how some of these other people play. because it would be
Yeah.
fun just to experience the different play styles. But I don't want to put another 70 hours into the game right now.
Yeah, because like I feel like with some of these classes, you almost need to get them to 70 so they have all their skills before you figure out how to. And what's great is you gain so much more experience by just doing adventure mode as opposed to story mode.
Yep.
Because you get like bonus XP for clearing out a bounty and bonus XP for clearing out all 5 in a region. So you're just leveling like crazy. But
Yep.
yeah, Diablo 3 is really great. I want to play more Diablo 3 right now.
Let me tell you about how if you get it on the Xbox, I could bequeath you an easement.
That's right.
Just so you know, I could help.
Could be handed down to another generation.
I know audio listeners can't see this, but wink,
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 wink, wink, wink, wink, wink, wink.
For some reason, I thought it was on Game Pass, and it doesn't appear to be.
It might have been Games with Gold at some point, but I have no idea.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah.
But
It is still $60 digitally.
come on, of course it is. It's Diablo 3. Were you really?
Yeah, it's never
expecting-
going to go on sale.
Blizzard suffer from the Nintendo-itis.
A booter in Mixer Chat says, I picked it up on PS4 a few weeks ago. I'm in deep. Yeah, man, I feel you.
Yep.
Every time a new season comes around, I'll be like, oh, I just played a little bit. Whoops, nope, I played 30 hours this week. Okay.
Yep. And that, like, my wife is done. So my wife got her 70% on achievements and uninstalled it, and that's fine.
Uninstall Diablo.
It's not her kind of game.
It's not possible.
It's not her kind of game, and that's fine. I understand because I didn't.
But at least she played it.
She did.
And that makes me happy.
And she put way more time into it than I ever thought she would.
Yeah.
I did
So
drag
maybe
her.
it is her sort of game.
No, in her case, it's the company, it's not the game.
Okay.
think
Well,
that's
I mean,
what it
that's
came
good for
to.
you.
But I don't know. I don't want to get bitten by this bug again, but I can feel it itching now. It's like because we did all of the bounties. Like when I was leveling her characters up, we literally did every bounty because I was the host. So we did the bounties for every single area in my world, and I was like, yeah, we've done all the bounties, and you're like 2 levels away from having your last character leveled up now. So we just went in and did a couple of rifts. But then it's like, I could really just jump back in, and I've still got to break down all those weapons and give them to the cube to get the secret abilities that I'll never use for the cube.
I know that cube is. I feel like every time I look in that cube, my completionist
Dies
mentality goes crazy because it's like you just need to collect one of everything and feed it to the cube. That's no big deal. And it's like, oh no, there's a checklist.
That's literally the problem. So
yep.
I love Diablo, and yeah, okay, so I don't care anymore. If you're a listener and you want to help me with Diablo, just hang out, have a couple of drinks. In my case, it will be tea. In your case, it can be whatever you want. Just hang out, have a chat, and power level the rest of my characters up, please. Thank you very much.
Yep. Find a Moon Pier on Xbox Live.
There you go, and pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah.
My last game I'll talk about this week is an oldie and a goodie, and the ultimate in comfort food for me. It is Moon Pier's Destiny 2 to Boston.
Okay.
It's Tom Clancy's The Division.
Ah, yes.
Another game with really incredible shooting mechanics, a really amazing world with nowhere near enough content. And
yeah, they tried to be a Diablo and eventually got there, but not fast enough.
Yep, and bullet sponge enemies all up the wazoo, just like Destiny has. It's shocking how similar these two games have traveled down their path. The difference is there's only one The Division and 2 Destinies. So that tells you the end game support. So yeah, Division. Again, this is helping my wife, to be honest, is what this was. She was really close to her 70% on this one, and I think I was 2 achievements away from completing the base game, which is all I ever aim for, is the base game. I don't care about DLC. If I get it, great. If I don't, I don't. That's fine. So we went in and we beat all of the missions on hard, which at this point in the game, well, we didn't beat all, we beat like 6. At this point in the game, hard missions aren't hard. Hard missions are a cakewalk.
Right. It's like Torment 1 in Diablo 3, where it's sort of like...
it's like
not
hard.
difficult anymore.
It's like hard in Diablo 3.
Right.
When literally we are walking in and smoking every fool there exists.
Right.
And it's just like, this is weirdly easy considering... well, obviously there's the escalation of gear and everything else and stuff like that. And the 7 different DLCs they've put in the game since release.
Right.
We did that. I got my final achievement, which was to complete all of the missions on hard. So I got that. My wife got that. She needed like 2 or 3 more. So we have a show called We Roguelike It.
We do, yes.
Get your pen out, Boston, and add Tom Clancy's The Division to We Roguelike It, because it has this survival mode in it now, which we always forget about, which is a single run, life to death or life to completion survival gameplay mode.
The Division. What's the mode called again?
Survival. Which basically survival mode in The Division is you queue up. I think it's about 20 players. You can choose PvE and PvP. Well, I always choose PvE because I don't want to deal with people. People are not... Because
you're not a madman.
Yeah, people are not great. Cutscene starts. There's been a development. You jump in your hazmat suit. You need to go to this infected site. You go to the infected site. The helicopter crashes. Oh no, you're in the middle of New York and you need to get your antivirals and... Oh,
that's the snowy one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That always seemed cool.
It really is cool. And my wife jumped into it a couple of times. So she jumped in, she played a couple of times and wasn't... This is no disrespect to my wife. This is my jam. This is my game type.
That's why you and I have a roguelike show.
Exactly. So she was doing okay, but it was suffering a little bit. So I thought, well, I'll jump in and give her a hand. So I jumped in essentially as the Binding of Isaac co-op partner, where it's just like everything that you need, I will make sure you get. I will sacrifice everything I can to make sure you get what you need to get on this run.
Right. You're the frozen corpse that she's pulled the supplies off of to get to the helicopter.
Exactly, and at the end of the run, that's literally what I was, because I dropped all of my stuff.
Take this health kit.
Well, it's one of these things where when the whole plot synopsis behind survival mode is you fall out the helicopter, you fall onto a big metal pipe, which crushes your hazmat suit, infects you, and then you have a certain amount of time. I think it's 45 minutes is roughly how long you have left to live. So you are on a ticking clock from the second you start that mode to basically start the game, get gear yourself up, get to the dark zone. When you get to the dark zone, be able to craft a flare gun and evacuate on the helicopter. So that's that's the mission, is to get to the dark zone and evacuate. Now, you just get dumped into New York, so you've got loot to find, you've got to craft new clothes, there's a middle of a winter storm going on, so you're also trying to get extra clothing like thermal protection in it. So there's all like 20, 30 different steps you have to take as you're trying to get to the dark zone. And for me, it was just a case of, I'm going to do what I need to do to get by, but everything else I can do, I'm just going to make sure my wife is okay. I have never survived survival mode.
Okay.
I have gotten to the helicopter, but the 2 times I got to the helicopters, I got the really nasty enemies who are specifically agent killers, who are really, really difficult. Like, they're designed to wipe out agents. And both times I got to the helicopter on survival previously, they killed me, because why not?
Right.
So this time I wasn't even aiming for that, and I just got my wife everything, gave medicine, stuff like that. I was like, okay, how much longer have I got left to live? 20 minutes. Okay, let's head to the dark zone. We're in the dark zone. How much longer have I got left to live? 12 minutes. That's how much longer I've got left to live. Okay, I'm down to 8 minutes. I'm down to 5 minutes. And my life is a ticking clock, and hers is I've got this injection. Ooh, yeah.
You're like coughing up blood, and she's like, everything's going great.
Yeah, exactly. And like, my favorite thing about the survival mode is you load in with a group of players, and as people die or get killed or succumb to the elements or the diseases, it tells you on your screen, it's like 10 players left, 9 players left, 8 players left. And it's kind of interesting because I imagine on a PvP mode, it's a little bit battle royale-ish, where
because you're trying to be king of the hill.
Exactly, and you have to get to the dark zone and call an extraction, and everybody's vulnerable to everybody else. So it might be interesting in that way. Well, I'm just having fun with the PvP, but I was king support. Like, I dropped off a whole bunch of stuff for my wife. First dibs on everything went to her.
Yep.
We got her to the end. We got her the achievements that she needed to get the 70%. And then she gets to the helicopter pad. She fires the flare gun. She extracts and gets another 3 achievements, which I don't have because I've never beat survival mode. She already had the 70%. And that little extra push, and she got another 3 different ones. I saw someone leave it for the first time. I've never seen anybody survive that mode. So
yeah, live vicariously.
Yeah, and just playing that makes me want to go back into it again. It makes me want to go back in and just be like, okay, I'm going to give this a couple of runs and see how things go. Because it's tense and fun, and the Division is so underrated, and I don't know how I feel about the Division 2, but now I'm suddenly hyped for it again. And it's like, oh no, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to do, Boston. It's Game of the Year.
There's too many good loot games like Diablo and Destiny and Division.
I know. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I don't know why. I didn't play any 2018 stuff. I was like, let's just play the old stuff.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, you got to take a break every once in a while.
Yeah.
I played a little bit more Dragon Quest XI. I'm plugging my way through the endgame stuff. Act 3 is interesting because the first part of it, no spoilers for anyone listening, the first part of it is really focused on sort of powering up your team as you're going towards the final battle. Mm-hmm. I'll recommend again, if you're... The first 2 acts don't really matter for walkthrough purposes. They're pretty straightforward. Third act has a lot of stuff that isn't really missable, but it's sort of like, if you go back to the very first dungeon in the game and go all the way to the end, there's another boss battle, and it's, you'll get something cool for beating it. So a walkthrough is highly recommended for the third act. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen when they're very much saying like, you should do all this stuff to power up your team. I didn't realize that powering up your team basically meant you do, Mass Effect 2 style loyalty missions, basically.
Yeah.
It's a short sequence and a boss battle, relating to this one party member. And then at the end, for all of them, I've gotten a new skill tree out of them. 2 characters got 2 new skill trees. So I'm like doubling the amount of abilities that some of these characters have, and a bunch of them are just complete game changers for that person's skill. It's really crazy. Dragon Quest XI is really great.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and it's Toriyama art, so I'm always tempted to jump in them all of the time.
Yeah, I think the thing for me for Dragon Quest XI, we talked about this this month's episode of Pup that we recorded yesterday, was I think the thing that I've always heard about how because to say that Dragon Quest is popular in Japan would be putting such an understated spin on it. Like, it's just a phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the game series that they asked the developers to put the game out on Friday, because when it was coming out on Tuesday, people were calling in sick at record levels.
Yeah,
and that's Japan, folks, where if the trains are late by a minute, you have a late note for work.
Right, like it's a game that literally everybody plays across every demographic and age range and everything. Everybody plays it. And the thing that I've heard, and this is possibly applicable to you, Moon, the thing that I've heard, and the thing that I would recommend for anyone, Dragon Quest XI is a really great first Dragon Quest game, because it's classic in the way that is like a warm blanket, but it's modern enough that you're not like, oh my god, I can't fast travel. Like, you can fast travel really early on. The way that I've heard that a lot of Japanese people that maybe don't regularly play games play this is like at the end of the day, they'll play it for about an hour, or they'll play a dungeon and then save on the other side of it, and the next day they'll do like the town stuff and then save. I think that's a really great way to play Dragon Quest XI. You know, you don't have to, it's not like a lot of JRPGs where you have to tuck in for, I'm going to play 10 hours today. You know, it's nothing like that. Even though I did it that way, you can. But I think that'd be a really great way to play Dragon Quest, because it's almost like watching, you know, like a TV show. Knock out an hour, and then, you know, if you don't play for another couple days, that's great, and then you knock out another hour. But Dragon Quest XI is really great. I'm very curious to see what the Switch version is going to be like when it comes out, because I feel like for a lot of people, the portability and being able to just put it to sleep no matter where you are, I feel like that's going to be a real selling point.
Yeah,
so,
and it's also, that would make it a very good bed game as well.
Exactly. It's so relaxing, and it's just a pleasant game. There's virtually no stress. I fought 75 hours into it. I fought the first boss battle that I lost in, so it's crazy easy, which is great. I played more Assassin's Creed Rebellion. Probably won't talk about this too much more, because it's just going to be a mobile game I play for like 10 minutes every day.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I've been playing Marvel Strike Force since I installed it. How often do I talk about it on the show?
Right. I just want to remind everybody that it's out, and I'm still really enjoying it, which is... I was talking about it with community member Late Elf on Twitter today, that I am especially susceptible to AC Rebellion because, one, it's a mobile game, two, it's an Assassin's Creed game. Yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch where it's like, all right, come on to my phone. Let's do this.
I'm not going to lie either. That photo you posted
of Cassandra
almost made me install it. I don't even care about the rest of it, because I kind of want to avoid any more mobile games right now, or having two Marvel games to take up all my time. But the second I saw that saily looking little cute Cassandra, I was like,
Yep. It's really great. Yeah, I'm trying as hard as I can without going crazy to try and recruit her, because even if she's not that great, Cassandra's really great, and that grumpy mug in this game is really good.
Yeah.
I have leveled up some of my characters to, you know, they have two things, like most of these games, you know, where you have hero shards and a gacha system. They have a character level, and then they have their rarity. You get enough hero shards, you can upgrade their rarity, and it does like a crazy power boost. One of my assassins, so they have, you know, when you're pulling hero shards, they have your normal, like, uncommon, rare, legendary, epic, or whatever the yellow tier is.
Yeah.
And epic is like, the highest tier is like, you're pulling Altair. You know, I pulled Claudia, you know, what's-his-face's sister, Ezio's sister.
Oh, wow. That's
you know,
deep
you're pulling.
cut.
It is, and I just thought, my dearest Claudia, you know, like starting those dumb notes. You know, Cassandra is that tier too. It's your big heroes,
the protagonists.
Yeah, like and some of their family members, and some famous people in history. The next tier down is like, I recruited Uncle Mario. That's his unit name is Uncle Mario from Brotherhood.
Is he from Brotherhood, or is he from 3?
2, maybe. No, he's not from 2. He's from one of the. He's not from 3. He's from one of the 2 ones. Because I remember he comes out and goes, "It's a me, Mario," and everyone's like, "Yeah, no,
okay, yeah." I think that's Brotherhood.
Yeah, it's basically like Ezio goes off to go hang out with his Uncle Mario.
I think I think he might be the uncle who's in charge of the villa that you take over. And
it is, yes, yeah, that guy. But it's not him at the beginning. It's him with like the eye patch on and everything. So that's a kind of nice deep cut. And then like the 1 and 2 star people are basically like, here's a lady. Goobers. Yeah, and like, here's a assassin dude.
Here's the person who jumps down when you do the whistle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's the guy on the ship that you send out for 4 hours, and then when you come back, he brought you 5 pieces of wood.
Yep.
So I'm leveling up a lot of those guys because they're easy to just, like, you got 3 stars in a mission, now you can rush it, in this game's language, and spend a little bit of energy. And they do it in a really interesting way where when you rush a mission, it basically takes like 10% of the health off all 3 party members. So you can't just rush over and over and over again. But 10% health, it comes back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's no real big deal. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think I would like this game as much as I did. And I probably play it like 3 times a day for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. So it's not like Marvel Puzzle Quest or not even like Marvel Strike Force where I go in and I'm like, all right, let's put in my hour or two. It's nothing like that. But
yeah,
I think that's helping me not get burnt out in the game, which is good. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, when we get right down to it, this week's episode is literally it's about Boston finally starts Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
So spoilers, if you haven't started it, I'm not going to not talk about systems and mechanics in this game. That's why I left it to the end. Skip 20 minutes or so if you don't want to hear it. Full-on spoilers. We're going to talk about the Cult of Cosmos.
Okay.
Fair warning. So, I still don't like the intro to the game because Cassandra's not in it. I don't care about Leonidas. I don't care about 300, whatever. Give me Cassandra.
I understand, but it's very short, so that's fine. It's much better than the Assassin's Creed 3 start.
Oh, God, yeah. But give me Cassandra, give me Layla, whatever. I don't care about it. I get, like, you have to show me where I got the spear, the magic, I always use it spear, whatever. I am halfway through it. I'm about to finish
Hold on.
Chapter 5.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just rewind a second. Okay, so are we full on spoiler zone for Assassin's Creed at this point? Are we talking everything or just the specifics? Because I'm not going to talk about anything you haven't hit, but there are some things that may be spoilery. Let's just... we are 2 weeks away from being spoiler all over the place for this game anyway, so let's just...
And we'll do a spoiler cast more than likely if we can squeeze it in, so we'll talk a little bit about early game spoilers here. But so basically I went to the big party for the guy that is the leader of, they call it Attica in the game, Athens?
Yes, Pericles, is it?
Yes, Pericles. Did his party...
That's really far in already.
Yeah, I'm way past that. So I've done the full 3 quest lines for the person you're trying to find.
Okay.
So I'm basically, it has shown me one of the Cult of Cosmos that is, you've been hunting that person down for a while. It's not Deimos, but it's the other person. It starts with like a K or something. I won't spoil it anyway. But basically, you like run into this person, you have a conversation. They like throw a firebomb on you, and then they escape, and you're like, okay, well, I have to go find them again. Okay, cool.
Okay, this one I'm not too sure about. Are we talking about the sacrificial baby scene?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I just did that earlier today, which was sort of like, all right, Assassin's Creed.
I'm guessing you chose to save the baby.
I did, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, Assassin's Creed, I get that she's evil. Mm-hmm. I got it. Like, you didn't... All this other stuff that I've been doing for the last 10 hours, this person's evil. I figured it out. Whoops, killed a baby. Tried to kill a baby. Okay, I get it.
Okay, so, Cassandra. Let's rewind
Probably my favorite Assassin's Creed protagonist.
Mm-hmm. So...
Hands down.
The big thing we ended up I ended up talking about was the comparison between Cassandra and... Oh, I forgot his name.
Which game?
Origin.
Oh, Bayek.
Bayek, thank you. I like them both so much.
Yes.
I think Cassandra just takes it because she's got that snark.
Yeah, I like that you can... It's harder to explain without playing it, but Bayek You had mentioned that Bayek is an Egyptian cop, and that was his job in the game.
Yep.
As such, there's very little wiggle room to bend that ethos.
Yes.
In Origins. In Odyssey, and I think largely on the back of the surprisingly effective dialogue trees.
I was not expecting them to be anywhere near as good as they actually are.
Yeah, and I think pairing her being a mercenary with the dialogue trees is, I think, for the first time in an Assassin's Creed game, you get to play your character. Like, she has a name, and you didn't get to create your character. It's not like the online stuff, but there's so much freedom in someone asks you a question or someone gives you a quest line or something like that, and there are often 3 or 4 different paths you can go. A lot of times, part of the reason why I like Cassandra is, a lot of times if someone is really screwing you over, there's just an option where it's like, you're dead now, and just like, now you're fighting and you killed him. Like, that person was screwing you over too much, or they were lying to you. I'm just gonna stab you in the face. Sorry, dude. I think that is so, between that and lying and all this stuff, it doesn't sound like much, and sure, it's coming into Assassin's Creed like a decade too late. But I think you couldn't put the dialogue trees into Origins, because it wouldn't change anything.
No, because Bayek is an iron rod of a character. He is his character, which is part of his strength. Is his character is so solid, like, it's so well built, so well represented that putting a wiggle your finger emote next to something and saying "I'm going to threaten you" is
I love that little finger where it's like no.
That would do a disservice to Bayek, I think.
Yeah.
I think
it feels so out of character. But and that's part of why I like Cassandra. A big part of it is her voice actor, who is so good. I just
before we go into this too much,
sure.
Can we do the Deimos spoiler here, or should that wait?
I think that should wait, because I feel like that's a big story beat.
Okay, because
which you can see coming a mile away.
Yep.
But it's I feel like it's between the pyramid scene and then the meet up and try and be friends afterwards scene.
Wait, what pyramid scene?
The find the traitor scene, where you get that goofy mask.
Okay. That pyramid scene. Okay.
Yes.
I thought
the very first one.
Okay, so we're talking about the relic pyramid scene.
Yes. I feel like that's one of those scenes where you see that character and you're like, yeah, that's probably that guy, huh? And like an hour later you're like, yeah, okay. Like, it's not the best story beat, but I feel like the game sells it largely because Cassandra's voice actor is so good, but it also makes me want to see that.
From the flip side,
I have to look it up on. I have to look it up on YouTube, because I want to see the other side, where it's like, what happens if the roles are reversed? Like, how's that happen? I've been meaning to look it up on YouTube, but I wanted to get well past that, so it wasn't like top 10 spoilers from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And it's
I would say beat the game before you do that. And now that I have beat the game, I can actually do that. So I should do that.
Okay. Yeah. I think her voice actor is outstanding, because she does such a good job of selling being that badass, or being the person who hears this sob story about someone who needs medical help, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to charge you. Like, go get the help you need. You know, like, she sort of is a mercenary with a heart of gold if you want her to be. And I think that her voice actor really, really sells that well. And I feel like it's probably going to be one of the more overlooked voice acting performances this year because Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
Yep.
And Rockstar always nails it out of the park every time they do it. But man, her stuff is really good. And
my favorite delivery on her is the "I'm done with this" delivery.
Yes.
When you know that she's just fed up with the situation or the person that she's dealing with. Like, anytime you deal with Socrates, it's so
good. Where she's just like, well, there was one conversation I got into where like he kept needling Cassandra, and he was very much like, well, you contradicted your other thing. And at the very end, she basically
one of the
says,
cult missions, I believe, leading to a cult member.
Yes, yeah, and at the end, she's very much like, look, I really don't have the time for this. And he said, all right, I know you have more important things to do. And in the end, she was just like, okay. Like, just so done with it. Just like, go away, dude. Just stop. Let's talk about mechanics here. I think the conquest system as a whole. So there's two halves of it. The first half is like weakening a leader and then going and finding and assassinating them. I think that stuff is largely pretty cool. I think that I like that there is a leader of a region and you can see their influence, and you can see when you get somebody all the way down to like having no resources. It's just like a dude in a toga in a tent in the middle
woods.
of a field.
Yeah.
Like he just has nothing left. You just walk up to him. He doesn't even try to stop you from killing him. If you find that person early on, they're in like a
They're in
fort
the
with
house.
400 people. Yeah, like it. I think that's a pretty cool system. The conquest battle where you're trying to fight, it's taking control of it for either Athens or Sparta.
Yes, and then it's either attacking or defending, depending on who has the control of that region.
Right.
I think
it doesn't seem to matter.
It doesn't. That's the biggest thing for me. Is like
that's a bummer.
Both the leader thing and the leader who rules each area and the battles that take place. It's a really amazing concept that you do not have to interact with at all throughout the entirety of this game. If anything, there is like 2 or 3 situations where you have to do it, but other than that, you don't have to interact at all.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do one more of them so that I can get a trophy, and that will be the last one I do.
Yep.
Because
it won't be, depending on what you go for. It won't be your last one.
Okay, but I mean, like, it won't be. I think the thing that is frustrating to me, it's nice to see that they're moving away from clear out this region, clear out this next one, and you're clearing out the enemies from every region. I like that it's very much. There's no real winner here because it's just one army or the other that's trying to take control of the region is controlling it at the moment.
Yeah.
But I get better rewards from the cult stuff than I do from going through this really long chain to take out the leader and then fight sort of the extent of a pretty boring open field fight.
Yep.
To get like 2 purple lower level items. Like there's something that's missing there. I think you're right that it's such a cool idea, but like we talked about earlier in this episode, I'd like to see what they do with that in the next game if they keep it there. Because in this one, I sort of don't care about it.
Wouldn't it be really interesting to see that thing implemented into the, I don't know, ancient China and Japan with the samurai versus the ninja kind of battle going on?
Man, wouldn't that be neat? Yeah. Yeah. Which, this game in the modern day stuff very clearly makes a wink and nod reference to that stuff.
Yep.
Which is really great.
I'm assuming you saw the 3 stupid triple headlamp thing from Splinter Cell as well.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd echelon. Or is it the 4th? And I was like, gotcha.
Don't ever bring that up unless you're announcing a new game. Thank you, Ubisoft.
I don't know. I kind of like that stuff where it's sort of like, people are so dumb about connected world stuff that I like when developers and like movie companies sort of poke at that a little bit. Where it's like, oh, is it not? Who cares?
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore that stuff. I love the fact that in Origins there was a very clear shot of the head of Ubisoft or Abstergo or whatever it is getting killed on the freeway by the guy from Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
That's great. Watch Dogs is a franchise that still exists.
Watch Dogs is so good.
Splinter Cell is one of my favorite franchises of all time, period. And it doesn't exist anymore right now. So don't throw that thing out there unless you
don't tease me.
A new game.
The modern day stuff in this is really good. I feel like
it doesn't overstay its welcome either.
No, I wish there was a little bit more to the email and the files and audio logs. It's a little thin in this game.
Me and you are the only two people who think that, but yes, I agree.
I know, and I really I feel like the placement of the first return to modern day was a real big FU to modern day haters, because it's very much like, look, you spent all this time to go do this cool, important Isu story thing, and as soon as you do it, you get pulled out in the modern day. And I was sort of like, yeah, this is really great.
The second one is kind of similar. It's great.
Great. I'm excited. Let's talk about the Cult of Cosmos, which is the thing we have been trying not to spoil on the show. Just
before we jump into that, favorite characters so far, other than Cassandra, which, again, I just want to throw this out, like, Cassandra is scarred. She has absolutely... She's
had a rough life.
Yeah, she is covered in scars. She's got very clearly what looks like a tiger or a wolf, like, scratch across her arm.
Something with claws got her arm.
Like, and I love the fact that they don't address it once.
She's just had a rough life as a mercenary, and it has taken its toll.
I love that. But yes, NPC characters.
Favorite character except for Cassandra... I feel like this game, in a positive way, has very few people that are sticking around, and I kind of dig that, because like you have Socrates and you have a couple other people. I like her friend that used to be a mercenary with her. It was a side quest to like get
the old guy.
Like get his dagger back. I thought that was kind of fun. Like, I don't like Phoebe as much as the game wants me to.
That was literally going to be my next question, was Phoebe yay nay? Because
I'm middle ground.
I'm Phoebe meh. My wife was Phoebe nay, and I know a couple of people who are Phoebe yay.
I think the problem with Phoebe is Phoebe feels like the Fable 2 dog. Where it's sort of like, you're going to kill that thing in the end, huh? You know, like, you see it and it's like, oh, here's this plucky little kid who keeps getting into trouble that I love.
Yeah, you are designed to try and elicit an emotion from me, kind of thing.
It's Mary Jane at the end of a Spider-Man movie. It's sort of like, yeah, she's probably... Dr. Octopus is going to strap her to the top of a building. Okay. You know, like, I saw this coming.
Marcos. I think it's Marcos. The guy on the very first island. The D-bag.
Yeah, he reminds me of bosses I've had. That's his problem. You know, it's sort of like, oh, you did a great job. I'm going to take credit for it. See you later.
Barnabas or Barnabos?
He's the ship captain. Yep. He's great. I like that you have a salty sea captain that is overwhelmingly positive.
Yep. That's my favorite. Like, he loves the world, and he has clearly had some stuff done to him that should result in not that.
One of his eyes is cloudy. Like, he's had a rough life on the sea.
And he just loves everything about it.
Yep. I like the sailing so far. That's been pretty good.
Have you cleaved?
A little bit more of it. What's that?
Have you cleaved yet? Tell me you've cleaved.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, I got that fun. One of the
this is the trophy.
Yeah, I got the trophy for one of the first things. So I know people don't like the Ubisoft Club. I don't really care. But every time I fire up a new Assassin's Creed game, or Watch Dogs, if they're going to ever come out with another one of those, the very first thing I click on is the Ubisoft Club, and I look at the free
stuff
downloads they have.
Yeah.
And usually they don't matter, where it's like, here's another horse skin. Instead of the white one, it's a black one. I immediately got all of the ladies on your ship. Yeah. So the very first cleave I did was the Wrath of the Amazons.
Yep.
Which is really great.
Which fun fact, I didn't realize this. Depending on the shanties,
yeah,
I really loved them when the guys sing them. I think I might prefer the women singing them.
They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far, ship battle has been pretty good. I like the fire arrows option.
Yeah.
That's
just for a fun fact,
solid.
by the way, they changed that recently.
Oh, did they?
They changed the controls for it because it used to have to be to fire the fire arrows. You used to have to hold left trigger to pull up the zoomy, hold right trigger to charge your arrows, and then hold right bumper to activate the fire arrows.
Oh god, okay.
So I was wondering recently why it wasn't working at all for me. I was like,
right, because you had to claw. You didn't have to claw hand it anymore.
Because they changed the controls. That's why.
Yeah, the controls now are on PS4 is hold R2 to get the zoomy down, and then just hit R1, and that shoots the fire arrows, which is a much better system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they didn't do that originally. But I think for me, to answer your question, I think a positive and negative of Odyssey is it's really just about Cassandra.
Yep.
Like, that's your one character that's staying around. And I think, in previous games, you always had, like, 2 or 3 people that are, like Syndicate. You had 3 or 4 people in your train that's always going to be there, and they're going to be happy to see you home. It's just Cassandra's story. Like, it's just her. And
have you been
that's
thirsty?
all she needs. Yes. Okay. Cassandra's very thirsty.
Yes.
But I mostly because I like that there's that option.
Mm-hmm.
You can very much say, like, no thank you, I'm okay, I will abstain, or I did help you, so maybe we'll smooch a little? How's that sound? It's nice to see that is in there. It makes sense why it wasn't there in Odyssey, because you were already married, or Origins, because you were already married.
Yeah.
But Cassandra's great.
I love the Daughters of Artemis quest line. The leader of them is incredible. That's the quest line to hunt all of the legendary beasts. Get ready for some nasty fights in that.
I found one of the beasts already, and it was like very clear on the map. It had like a red paw print, and it was I found like the Aegean lion or whatever it was, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do anything with you right now because that seems like a much later thing.
I think the first or the second battle is a boar, and then the last battle is a boar, I believe. Be prepared.
Or like a super boar.
Be prepared for nightmare fights, because tigers are dangerous. Leopards are dangerous. Civet cats are dangerous. All these crazy wild things. Crocodiles.
All the large cats.
Be prepared for boars to ruin your life.
They've already been ruining my life by charging at me and knocking me off my unicorn.
So. It gets worse.
Great.
Yep.
God, what else? I am not playing this how I normally play an Assassin's Creed game because we're coming up to Game of the Year. So I'm doing a straight sprint through the game, which has had the unintended but satisfying side effect of me being grossly underleveled for nearly everything in the game.
Literally, that was about to be my next question is...
Yep.
Oh.
It's really pretty fun because I love playing these games as stealth only.
Yep.
I know that is an unpopular way of playing these games. Most people kick down the front door and just start unloading arrows.
I hated Origins until I got the Eagle enough to see through walls, and then I played it stealth games, and then I loved it. Same with this game.
Yeah, I've been doing that since the beginning. I feel like the Eagle in this one is more useful right off the bat.
It seems more powerful, like can see further, see through walls easier. Straight off the bat, he is definitely better than...
And
Icarus?
Seinu, I think was the other one.
Oh yeah, it was Xenu and Icarus? No. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I don't remember what this one's is. But it requires me to make heavy use of the critical assassination, which is really great.
Yep.
I just upgraded it to the point where I do way more damage at night, which is really great.
Yep.
And it requires me to think a lot more strategically as opposed to, well, I'll do the Metal Gear Solid thing where I'm going to try and do stealth up until I get caught and then I'll just blow everybody away. So that's been really great. The last thing is the Calls of Cosmos, which
Yep.
I had heard about. It's not a secret.
No.
It is a spoiler for maybe for people that haven't gotten there. It's such a cool system of working your way through these branches to get to these people, to get to whoever is in the middle of it. And it's such a simple system of, go find this person in this place, or go do all the side quests on this island, and then you'll find the person. But there's something so satisfying about it to work your way through this thing and kill this person to find someone else in the other tree that then finds someone else. And half the time I'm just going into a cave and I stumble upon one of the cult members. And it's like, well, okay. Well, I found him and I killed him. He unlocked someone else.
Have you assassinated one by accident yet?
100%. Yes.
It happened a couple of times with me. My wife's got a really good story about one particular person who I'm not going to talk about because that is a spoiler. How she cheesed the game to get to that point, killed this person, was like, oh, that's great, and then it was like, oh, fragment received kind of thing. It's like, okay,
right,
even better.
Right.
I think it was her who said that she was running through the town and then accidentally killed somebody who was just sitting there cleaning, and they were one of the middle rings in the cult.
Great. Wow.
I've had a couple of people just be in fight with a couple of people, and then it's done the confirmed cultist kill thing. She's like,
yep.
What?
Right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it was like I stormed this fort and the captain was one of them. It's like, nope. Okay, cool.
Yep.
But I feel like that's not terribly bad when you do it in a fort, because it's like, well, all right, I'm clearing out a side quest, I'm doing this stuff. It sort of makes sense they'd be in there, but there have been some of them where it's sort of like, all right, I'm in this one villa in the middle of the town. I'll get the chest and kill the captain while I'm here. Whoops, got a cultist. Okay.
Yeah. I loved doing that specific.
Yeah.
Like the Cult of Cosmos, I loved clicking on a person, figuring out the clues, figuring out where to go, going there, figuring out how to get to them, doing side missions until you figure out which side mission is the mission that's going to lead you to the cultist in that area. I love that whole process.
The whole thing is so good.
It's the Deck of 52 from Mercenaries. It's work your way up the tree.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah, I love Odyssey. I knew I was going to like it because it's an Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it way more than I thought I would, and I'm really glad that I'm squeezing it in here at the end of the year, because I would have been really upset had I not been able to include it on my top 10 somewhere. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know where it's going to end up, but I'm excited to finish the main storyline and then go back and complete as much stuff as obviously I want to do the 3 main endings. To me, it's the Mercenary, the Cult of Cosmos, and then the main story. Those are the 3, right?
Yeah. So Cassandra's Odyssey, the Cult of Cosmos, and the
top of the Mercenary pile.
No, that's technically number 4.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is the Jump the Shark thing.
Oh, okay. I haven't gotten to that yet. Okay.
Let's just say that Jaws has got your legs in his mouth based on how close you are.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the game is working up to something big soon, and
it's that moment, and you're probably about 2 or 3 missions away. And I want a text or a tweet the second you get it. I will
hit you up tonight via text.
I want to know what your reaction is. Don't spoil it for any of the kind of gentle
No,
listeners.
Yeah, that's why we'll try and fit in a spoiler cast if we can. But I'm very excited to see whatever this is, what it's going to be, and you will get my knee-jerk reaction via text, and then I will save that text for our spoiler cast.
Okay.
But Odyssey is really great, and I know I'm a fan of Assassin's Creed, and I have only disliked one of them. To be fair, I didn't give Unity enough of a chance to say I did or didn't. But if you don't like Ubisoft games, don't play Ubisoft games because they're not going to change anytime soon.
Nope, they sell.
If you like Assassin's, but if you like Assassin's Creed, I think they keep getting better. Origins was an incredible game, an incredible reboot for the series.
Yeah, Origins put me off at first because when I first started playing Origins, my response was, "This is not Assassin's Creed. I don't know if I like it."
Right.
And then it became, "This is Assassin's Creed."
And it's so good.
And it's so amazing.
Yeah. And I think Odyssey intelligently builds upon what Origins did right. Like, they extended a little bit of the battle system, so it feels a little bit better this time. I wish enemies would stop using those red attacks so often. I'm just trying to kill them.
Yep.
But I feel like it's not a jump like Syndicate to Origins. It's not a jump from like 1 to 2. It's not this reinvention of the franchise, but they took Origins, which was incredible,
and they made a 1.5.
Well, to me, I feel like it feels like more of a 1.5, largely because I like Cassandra so much, and surprisingly, the dialogue trees do way more than I thought they would, because I felt like it was going to be like Mass Effect, where it's going to be like, this is the good choice, this is the evil choice, this is the kill them choice. Like, there's not, and then the white text is basically like, tell me more about your problems. But there's a lot more to it, and I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And nothing revolutionary in games, but it feels like it fits.
I think, based on where you said you're in the story, have you had the mission where you get to choose to publicly execute a cultist or not?
No.
Okay.
But I remember what you said to do it privately. Yeah. I'll do that.
I think you'll be getting close to that point real soon.
Probably. Yeah, I feel like so much. I like talked about this in Sunless Sea, where an objective screen is really important. The quest screen in Odyssey is really great, and I like that you have... They break it down into, like, conquests and side missions and contracts, and whenever I go to the bounty board, I just scoop everything up, and if it expires, fine, whatever.
Yeah, the vacuumer of quests.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to buy anything from that dude with the other currency anyway, so whatever. But I like that you have, like, 3 to 4 main story missions.
And they're right at the top.
Main story categories with potentially story missions underneath a category, like even 3 to 4 of those going on at the same time, and you're sort of bouncing between them, which almost screwed me in a story mission because I started the Hippocrates missions and I wasn't high enough level to do it, so I went to go do something else, and I sort of got in trouble because I didn't come right back with something he needed, which was surprising, because usually it's just like, hey, this dude's been dying for 20 hours. Thank goodness you came back. And it's like, no, man, that dude died. Like, you took too long.
Yep. I've had that a couple of times.
Yeah. So, again, nothing revolutionary, but it helps Assassin's Creed a lot.
I love the name of that, by the way. If you have, like, the main story mission and then you've got, like, the 3 quests underneath to lead to that main story mission, they're called support missions.
Yep.
Which I really like.
And, like, the main high-level things you're doing are called, like, your Odyssey. Like, it's all... God, it's just good. And I'm their target market, so I understand you might take this with a grain of salt. Odyssey is really good.
Yeah.
If you didn't play Origins and you haven't played Assassin's Creed for a long time, Odyssey is Origins is still really good, but Odyssey is really, really good.
Yep. I think Cassandra makes it for me. Like,
yep.
I loved Origins because of Bayek and because of his story, and they did so much good to the game as a whole, but Bayek made that game. And I think they've done an amazing... It's the kind of the inverse of the Far Cry, where Far Cry, each game you remember the game by the antagonist.
Right.
Whereas Assassin's Creed, you remember each game by the protagonist.
Right.
And
then the villain in a lot of Assassin's Creed games is like the evil Pope for the third time. So like,
literally, I was going to say the
Pope. One of my favorite endings to an early Assassin's Creed game is just killing the Pope.
Yeah,
which is so good.
Assassin's Creed 2, I believe that is.
Yeah, I think that was Vanilla 2.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just... God, Assassin's Creed is so dumb and so good, and I love it.
I can't wait to hear from you about this moment, because the moment is dumb, and it's Assassin's Creed kind of dumb.
Yeah, but it's perfect. My kind of dumb.
Too dumb for me, and it is my kind of dumb too, but still.
Yeah. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of December 3rd, 2018. Gwent, the Witcher card game, comes out PS4 and Xbox One. I will be checking this out after the first of the year, because I like Gwent a whole lot.
Speaking of games I haven't played yet.
Yeah, man, The Witcher 3 is so good. And alongside it, Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales also comes out. So it's basically, Gwent is the multiplayer-focused part, and I believe that's free. And Thronebreaker is the single-player, like 40 to 50 hour single-player story-based Gwent thing.
Okay, so it's a Witcher product.
Yeah, a little confusing. Yeah. Just Cause 4 comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
I'll see you next year, man. Just Cause. See you next year.
You'll be eligible for the best game of 2019 list since you came out in December, but
yes,
there's just too much, man. Sorry, it looks great, but hopefully console performance is better than 3. But
I was lucky because I did with that what I did with Mass Effect 3, which was I played it way late, which meant that I didn't get any of the issues everybody else was moaning about. Yeah,
you finally got the stable version. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom comes out PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Looks like they did basically the same thing as the last Monster Boy remake, which is really great, and I need to get to the previous one, but, 2018.
Yes.
The Persona 3, 4, and 5 dancing games are out on PS4 and Vita. Whole bunch of asterisks here. 3 and 5 are sold separately. There are 2 different games. If you buy the bundle, you also get the 4 dancing game, which was really good. It was released on Vita and PS3 here, I believe. So you'll get that on PS4. I expressed caution on PUP, and I'll express the same caution here. You may want to look at reviews for 3 and 5. They do not appear to be as robust a product as the 4 dancing game was. It seems like there might not be a single-player story mode sort of thing there. It might just be a rhythm game. So, purchase as you will. Subnautica comes out on PS4 and Xbox One, game that's been in early access on PC forever.
It's also been in early access on the Xbox One.
Oh, right.
And no joke, the amount of times I've almost picked this game up is so ridiculous. I want it so bad, but no.
Yeah. Caution. Careful. Last Remnant Remastered comes out on PS4. As always, when I talk about Last Remnant, don't play this game without a walkthrough. I'm not joking. It will encourage you. Go ahead.
I always get this confused with other games. Last Remnant, is this the RPG where Sega went nuts?
No.
This
is a Square Enix one.
Okay, so this is the one that you guys loved on the show. Really early 360 life cycle.
Yes, this is the one
use
where
fire on the first boss, or don't use fire. One of the two.
No, that's oh god, the 4-disc one on 360. Oh, someone remind me in chat what the difficult first bird boss one was with the ring and the. Yeah. No, this is the one where the game will encourage you to play it wrong in the original version and will make it impossible for you to beat the final boss. Play it with a walkthrough, otherwise you can't beat it. I'm not kidding. It's a really great game that is disturbingly confusing what it is.
And this is a remaster version.
Yes. So basically they came out on
they should have fixed that. If that's seriously an issue and a known issue.
Sort of. So basically the life cycle of this is it came out on 360. It was good, but had a lot of mechanical and user interface problems. Mm-hmm. Came out with it on PC, fixed a whole host of those problems, and minimized the effects of the game teaching you how to play it wrong for the final boss. So you could sort of overcome that stuff if you really wanted to.
Okay.
That's this version ported to Unreal Engine 4 and put out on PS4. So it's the better version, but please, you'll make it so much harder on yourself if you don't play it with a walkthrough. And it is a really good game. Wasteland 2 Director's Cut comes out on Switch. Seems like a really great platform for it.
Yes.
This tactical, old-school RPG.
It's Fallout in the desert.
Yes, like old-school Fallout 1 and 2 sort of thing. Made largely by the same team, if I remember correctly.
The OG crew from Fallout 1 and 2 made this.
Yeah. Katamari Damacy Reroll comes out on Switch.
Let's find out if it holds up.
Yeah, I know there's a demo out there, I believe, but I haven't used my Switch in a little bit, so I haven't downloaded it. But it would be really great to have the first Katamari on the Switch. I don't know how much it costs, but
see, it is, but my biggest concern with stuff like this is don't go back and meet your heroes. Because Vib Ribbon is one of my favorite games of all time.
Vib Ribbon's really good.
A genuinely quality rhythm game that's paper thin and about 4 hours long.
Well, Vib Ribbon's whole thing that makes it difficult to play nowadays is you put your own CDs in for it, which is not a thing that the emulation ever really supported.
Yep. That game is just a bummer. So good.
Vib Ribbon is really good.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I have the European release somewhere in this room because it didn't come out in the US. I think I have the European and the Japanese one because Vib Ribbon is really good. Mojib Ribbon, really bad game. Really bad.
Speaking of games that could do with a remaster, give us a new Vib Ribbon. None of this.
Yeah, with MP3 support. Yeah. But my hope for the first Katamari game is it would have been nice to see them bring over something like Beautiful Katamari or some of the stuff where it was almost a greatest hits game. But the first one is so simple and it didn't have all the extra BS.
Yeah.
It's like roll up cold stuff. Oh no, you rolled up a fire. Oh, you failed. That.
Yeah, now you have to get even more cold stuff for make up for the fact that you got the hot stuff.
Those levels sucked. But when you stick to the normal stuff, get big enough to swallow up all the continents. That's the Katamari I want. PUBG comes out on PS4.
Yep.
That's
how that does.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't need to say anything else.
No, you really don't. Moving on.
And last but not least, another game that needs no introduction: Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out on the Switch.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
it's a good thing we don't have a Switch in this household.
Yeah, I like the Smash Brothers games. I don't think I would ever play one myself, and I don't have enough people around that want to play Smash Brothers enough to really get the most out of it. I know it has like a single player mode they've talked about, but that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah, it's my issue with Mario Party. I adore the Mario Party games, and don't let the Giant Bomb crew fool you. They are actually a genuinely good game. Never, ever, ever play 50 turns. That's just insanity.
Yeah, madness lies there.
Yeah. Here there be monsters.
Yeah.
Well, I can't buy one because, number one, I don't have the platform, but number two, I got no one to play it with, like, at all.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All right, let's move on to questions. We're just going to skip news stories because I'm tired and I want to go play more Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Timid Hulk asks us a question in Discord. With Silly Sales Week behind us, which is probably the new thing I'm going to call it, as well as the poor decisions associated, what would you suggest as a first 4K/HDR game to kick off a new Xbox One X/4K TV setup? I've been debating on AC Origins or Red Dead 2, but I'm way open for other suggestions.
Okay, Origins, does it good? Not great.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is fake.
And their HDR is still broken.
Yes,
so
that's what I mean when I say it's fake. Red Dead Redemption 2, don't get me wrong, Red Dead Redemption 2 in 4K is one of the most beautiful looking games that I've ever played. But if you want that 4K HDR, Odyssey is a good place to go for it.
Yep.
My personal recommendation, especially with an Xbox One X, it's Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. I would recommend if you have an X, fire up Forza Horizon 4. Like, it has really solid HDR that is compliant.
4K.
Yep, it's full 4K. It's smooth. It's
my personal favorite thing about it as well is it's colorful, which is something you don't get a lot. So, I mean, I talked about it on this show. Like, my wife started that game 2 hours before I came home, and when I came home, I had my 4K TV at that time with HDR. She didn't. She literally played the same mission I did 2 hours earlier, and her response when I was playing it was, "Holy crap, that looks beautiful."
Right.
And she literally played that mission 2 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
So
on the PS4 side, I would recommend Horizon Zero Dawn, especially color-wise. That uses the full color gamut, great HDR, not true 4K. Obviously, very few games on the PS4 are true 4K, but it does the checkerboard, which works pretty well.
Spider-Man 2018 looks beautiful as well.
That's what I was going to recommend too. Yeah, Spider-Man 2018, good HDR, good 4K, solid performance. I would recommend Dragon Quest XI, but it doesn't have HDR support. Looks good without it, but like, I feel like if you're gonna pick up something that you want to show off the HDR on, you want to pick out. Like Odyssey does HDR pretty well. About half of the time I have it off because the room I'm playing the game in is very bright.
Yeah, so it washes out sometimes.
Yeah, HDR can kind of make things a little too dark.
See,
but
we have a living room / den, and I don't mean den.
A cave.
Yeah, I don't mean den in this is the den where everybody gets together. I mean the den as in the cave where me and my wife go and sit and nobody else.
Where the bears hibernate.
Yeah, everybody else can go away.
Maximus Prime in chats, Infamous 3 had awesome HDR. That's right. And Infamous 3 is really good that I feel like so many people hate that game for no good reason. Yes, Second Son.
There's another game I need to add to my list.
Yeah, Second Son is good. I liked that. A game that very distinctly changes based on your decisions, which is nice. I can't think of anything else that's like a big showpiece.
Oh, honestly, for me, it's more colors. The more colors you get, the better. I mean, what does Tetris look like in HD? HDR 4K?
It's 4K is really good. HDR, I feel like it's not too much of a showpiece, mostly because it gives you a richness of colors, and combining that with the sharpness of 4K, I think it looks really good, but I don't think it's something like Forza where you could look at it side by side and be like, okay, this one looks good, this one looks incredible. Like, I feel like Tetris, it looks really good either way. You know, like looking at my wife's 1080p TV, it still looks really good. The colors still look really good. So it's not one of those where it's like, go download it. Res is the same thing. You know, that doesn't even have HDR, so never mind.
Yeah.
Maximus Prime says, I think Destiny 2 has solid HDR. They actually just patched it. Still totally broken. So, non-compliant HDR, no matter what Bungie says. Diablo 3 has 4K support, but no HDR. So, yeah. Colors. Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, Forza Horizon 4. Go play those. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, with leaked info about a new PlayStation handheld has me thinking. I haven't seen these rumors about a new PlayStation handheld either.
Yeah, it's
been out of the game.
It's basically, from what I understand from skimming, there's a chance they might be looking at the Switch, like trying to make the next PlayStation kind of similar to the Switch. Is it going to have a screen there on the dock, or is it going to be part of a PlayStation 5 and come across separately?
Right.
There's a whole bunch of specs floating out and about, but obviously Sony does not comment on rumors or anything like that. So
rumors are speculation.
There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
He says, what does this new portable system need to do to succeed? For me, it must use a standard memory similar to the Switch and basically be a portable base-level PS4. What are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm.
I think memory... I feel like if they haven't learned the lesson from the PSP and the Vita about non-proprietary memory, don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think someone in Discord wrote, just support it.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why, you know, I feel like a lot of times Sony's support for the Vita was very much, I'm going to take this console game and I'm going to squeeze it down into the Vita. And that's not... You want games to take advantage of the platform, not, hey, we took Uncharted and we just sort of squished it right down. It's like, that's not really what you want. Yeah.
Let me tell you all about Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PlayStation Portable, where you literally had to claw hand like this to try and play.
There are not enough buttons.
Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, support is a big thing. A big thing is proprietary memory. Honestly, don't go half in.
Yeah.
Like, I think the PSVR has gone on so strong in 2018. Seems to be the year of the PSVR. Like, that seems to have jumped up. But that's got nothing...
Astrobot doing some great stuff.
It's got nothing to do with Sony is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The reason the PSVR is looking great right now is because it's... simple things like Beat Saber is working on it really, really well.
Yep.
Astrobot is doing fantastically.
Tetris Effect, Moss.
But
Resident Evil 7.
Like it or not, Microsoft went all in on the Xbox One X, and they said, it's going to be expensive, you know, but it's the most powerful console out there. And
it's your premier console.
Mm-hmm. Sony came out with the PS4 Pro, which kind of does half of what it should do and half of what it shouldn't do.
It was a smidge early.
And if I'm right, does that still the one that doesn't accept UHD discs?
It doesn't. Right. Yes, it doesn't play 4K Blu-ray, if I remember correctly, which is insane.
Yes. And this is them half-stepping the next things, and I feel like that's what they did with the PSVR. Like, they came out, they said, look, we're doing VR for your console, and it's just going to be this little box, and it's only $200 or whatever it was. But quality-wise, like, tech-wise, it just wasn't there. Like,
and I mean, with how fast VR is moving, it's already behind everybody else, which I feel like is part of the reason why Microsoft never did it. They didn't get AR to work correctly, and VR is moving too fast, so
and
why bother?
Microsoft is still working on the whole AR, VR, mixed reality, whatever they're calling it thing. I think,
and they're probably waiting for people to forget about the Kinect too.
Probably, yes. The biggest thing for me is Nintendo here, like, because people rightly and wrongly gave Nintendo a whole bunch of flack when they announced the Switch, especially when they announced the starting lineup for it. Like, what, you've got 3 games for it, but secretly Nintendo have been geniuses with the first year of the Switch, because they weren't like, here's 6 games out the gate, they are amazing. They are by Nintendo for this product.
Yep.
They're like, here's Zelda. Here's... Oh, I can't even remember what the other Nintendo launch game was. But they came out with, like...
Yeah.
This maybe Splatoon? I don't know. But they came out with, like, 2 big games... And then 3 months later, dropped another big game. And then 3 months later,
like Mario
dropped
comes
another
out.
game. And then 3 months later, another big game. Like,
and now Smash Brothers coming out like a year or 2 years later afterwards.
Sony need to do stuff like that, and Microsoft are just as guilty as this as well. Don't drop everything at once.
Right.
Let me tell you all about how games can succeed in January. Resident Evil 7 coming out in January. And being one of the best games of the year and selling well because it came out at a time when nothing else did.
Yep.
Like, spread out those releases. Support it, not just for 2 weeks.
And from a hardware standpoint, do you want to compete with Nintendo, who is in a different market at this point? Or, I feel like that they're at a crossroads if they're going to make a console like this. Like, do you want to compete with Microsoft, which... you've done well with over this generation so far, and we're getting a parity here, sales-wise. Or do you want to compete with Nintendo, who you're probably not going to beat?
Yeah.
Just flat out.
I think the problem is the way the video game market feels to me like it's going right now is there is 2 divergent paths right now. Mm-hmm. There is going to be the Nintendo way, which is Nintendo does what Nintendo wants to do.
Yep.
There is the Microsoft way, which is you embrace everything. You
embrace chaos.
Embrace chaos. Yeah. You want to stream it, you want to download it, you want to buy it, you want a discless version.
Free games, sure, whatever.
That's how Microsoft feels like it's going. It's like, we don't care. If you're in our ecosystem, that's fine. We're happy.
Yep.
And I think, myself included, I'm going to be in the minority where I want the box with all of the guts inside in front of my TV.
The disc drive in it.
Yeah, I want that for my home.
Your traditional console.
Yeah, I will be in the minority probably within 10 years. I will be the minority of people wanting this kind of thing. Sure. And I'm fine with that. I will pay the premium for that box. But Sony's problem is if they go the Nintendo way, they ain't going to beat Nintendo.
Nope.
If they go the streaming, the downloading, the that kind of options,
heaven help us.
They don't have the experience in that like Microsoft.
They don't have the infrastructure either.
Microsoft have had the experience, the infrastructure, the build. How much stuff did they put together for the original concept of the Xbox One that now is coming into fruition?
Right.
Right. I don't know how Sony competes with that. I genuinely don't. Especially not with all the current infighting among themselves that it feels like they're doing right now.
I feel like one of their biggest, and maybe their biggest strength over the last couple of years for PS4, especially in 2018, is the offline single-player video game. And I feel like that has set them aside. You have God of War, you have Spider-Man, you've got these collections of games that are only on PS4 or some are multi-platform, but you've got these games that are just your traditional single-player game. And I feel like if they want to do that, I feel like that could be their market. Their slice of the market is, hey, you want to play an old-school single-player video game? No shared worlds, no looter shooters, none of this stuff. So, your PS4, your PS5 is the home for that stuff. Yeah,
they need to appeal to someone like me. Well, then the problem they have is I also want the other side of it. I want the online. I want to play with my friends, which, as far as I'm concerned, Sony have never done that well enough for me to actually want to invest in their service.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm curious to see what Sony does next. Mm-hmm. And this is going to sound crass, and I apologize, because I'm sort of looking forward to seeing how they screw it up. Because they're back to this hubris Sony again, and the PS5 could succeed by being a factor of a number of powers more powerful than the Xbox One X. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're not going to do it.
No, I think their biggest issue is they don't have wiggle room. They can't afford a failure. Like,
No, PS5 can't be a failure.
Nintendo can afford a failure. Look at the Wii U and tell me Nintendo can't afford a failure. They can't.
Yeah, Nintendo, once every 5 to 7 years, they just pooch out a console and they're like, all right, sorry, look at this new crazy thing. It's a portable console with a giant screen. Don't forget about the Wii.
Yeah, whereas you look at someone like Microsoft and you say, okay, so this streaming stuff ends up dying in the vine. Big whoop. We lose out on, a $100 box from Microsoft that streams.
And they move that to the enterprise and they make their money off there.
And they move it to the PC.
Yep.
And they offer the same options for the actual hardcore people like me. If the hardcore people like me, the Xbox kills that division, that's fine. I'll still have the streaming option. They have the wiggle room to put a bunch of money into one aspect of this, and if it fails, they've got 5 different options there.
Exactly. They've diversified their portfolio.
Yes. Whereas I think Sony have the biggest problem with, if they go in, they're going to have to go all in. And it's going to cost them a lot of money no matter what avenue they take. And I don't know if they have the flexibility to move on to something else as quickly as they can.
Yeah. I don't know. The next couple of years are going to be really interesting to see how long this generation's life cycle will be. Mm-hmm. And then see what the heck the next boxes are.
Yeah.
And Microsoft has laid out their roadmap. That nothing is set in stone, but they've shown where they're aiming towards. But Sony said, "We're not going to E3. See you in 2020." It's a little concerning.
I can't help but think that Microsoft drops an announcement.
Sure.
I don't want them to, because I want them to take their time, because right now they have the most powerful platform available, like console-wise, and I think Sony are still a couple of years behind in R&D to try and get to that kind of level of power, especially with all the proprietary cooling and everything else that Microsoft have got in the X. That thing is whisper silent, and my PlayStation 4 Pro is a jet engine.
Yeah, it needs to be quieter.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it might be E3 2019 might be a really good time for Microsoft to do something like they did with Scorpio, where it's like, hey, last year we talked about our primary pillars of our console, your disc, your streaming, your whatever. Here's a little bit more detail. We want to hear what you guys think about these things as they're still early in development. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could be an interesting way for them to get a leg up on Sony in 2019, especially with Sony not even being at the party.
Yeah.
And try and engage the community a little bit more.
Yeah. But it's to steal words from Vinny Caravella, it's never been a better time to be playing video games.
That's right. And on that note, that's the end of our episode this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is to the right-hand side of the page, including a link to our Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get all the cool early access stuff, behind the scenes, exclusive episode, the Outcast, where we talk about all the stuff before we even go live.
Yep.
That was like 45 minutes last week, so you get a whole bunch of extra stuff.
Probably something similar this week as well. Don't forget, tell a friend, tell 2 friends, they tell 2 more friends. Yep. Bring the pyramid
review us,
home.
Share with your friends.
Yep.
Download it. Grab their phone. Just download it to their phone.
Yep.
That sort of stuff. This month's Game Club game is Iconoclast. It will be out for free on Vita, which is cross-buy on PS4 on Tuesday. So if you're like me and had not purchased it yet, yay, freedom. And I think that's it.
I think so.
So we'll see you all next week.
Bye. Doppler effect. Dimebag in chat says Kingdom of Amalur on Xbox One. Yes.
Yeah.
My wife asked me about this, and I tried to explain to her that it's probably a game that she would like, because
that's dangerous.
It's Dragon Age. Like, my wife is a huge fan of Bethesda games and like that kind of RPG kind of game, and Amalur.
It's like a Bethesda game, but good.
Oh.
Hot takes.
I will disagree.
Skyrim was pretty good.
I will disagree with you on that.
Yeah. Skyrim was pretty good.
BioWare, that's the other one I'm thinking of.
Fallout 3 was fine. I like the Dragon Age games, so I can't really talk.
Dragon Age games are amazing.
I like Dragon Age 2, so like discard me as much as you want.
Dragon Age 2 is great.
Yeah. Anyways, hit me with your titles.
Okay. Parents Who Care. Bequeath You an Easement. My Life is a Ticking Clock. King Support. Silly Looking Cute Cassandra. Grumpy Mug. And Killing the Pope.
I have Giant Ant Game of Its Time, which I just want to talk more about the Giant Ant Game. Sherlock Holmes's Dog.
Oh. The
70% Rule. I Always Choose PvE. I really like it. It's just like a rallying cry. I'm going to put that on I'll put that out on a shirt. Killing the Pope. Parents Who Care, and Grumpy Mug.
I like 70% Rule.
Yeah.
I'm torn between Parents Who Care, 70% Rule, and fuck, what was the other one? I Always Choose PvE.
Yeah. I Always Choose PvE because I like that as a shirt idea. 70% Rule is really good too. I would go with 70% Rule, I think.
Yeah.
Just that's my gut feeling.
I would definitely go with that one. Make a note of the thing. I Always Choose PvE for t-shirts, but yeah. 70% Rule also sums up my entire play this week. Like, with the exception of Sherlock Holmes, everything I played was helping my wife hit her 70%. So.
Yeah. T-shirt design. I always choose PvE.
A little behind the curtain there for everybody.
Put on the list. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 580 for December 3rd, 2018. The 70% Rule.
I'm doing my part.
Alright, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us live or watching the archive video. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And we can stop recording.